it's Denny Keltz again with Top Dog Sales Training. In this video, I'm gonna teach you how to close anyone, anywhere, anytime. Okay, so watch the whole video so you can learn this and apply it in your life. Now, when I'm talking about closing anyone, anywhere, anytime, I'm talking about in regards to anything that has to do with sales, which is basically just communicating with other human beings. So, for instance, closing somebody on a transaction or persuading somebody to do something that is going to be beneficial to you and the person. What it is the transfer of energy. You're closing somebody. If you're closing somebody, it means you're changing their state so they feel like what you're saying makes sense by closing anyone, anywhere, any place, anytime. And yes, I did add another any. I'm talking about any situation, any scenario you might find yourself in where you have to close somebody on maybe an idea, on purchasing a product with you, on maybe closing your wife, on going to do something that's going to be good for you and your family, or if it's closing your family on, how they can implement better habits, anything like that. You got to have the ability. First off, the number one thing you need to focus on is how's your energy when you're trying to convey that message to your people, to your wife, to your family. I'm using that as an analogy because I'm always trying to push my family, especially, to just be better and live better. And especially like with my dad specifically, I'm always like harping on him on trying to change this habit. And I'm always trying to like paint this picture of like how his life could be, how much better he could feel. And at the end of the day, I was able to close him on becoming a better version of himself and taking care of his health and quitting smoking, quitting alcohol, quitting smoking weed. He lost 50 pounds. He's completely changed his life. And yeah, he's still a work in progress, but at the end of the day, I was able to close him on the idea because of my energy and because of my state, because there was a transfer of energy. Every single time I spoke with him and talked to him about how much better he's gonna feel, I was feeling so good. My energy was so good. I was transferring that to him. And then he was starting to think, maybe I could. It slowly got into his subconscious. And then eventually, my transfer of energy got into him. And then he decided to make those changes, because you got to make the changes for yourself. And nobody's going to make the changes for you. And that's what I'm talking about, is something like that. When you close them on the idea, like I did, close them on the idea of becoming better, eventually it got through to him. And it was because of my energy and the transfer of my energy to him so that he could feel it and embody it. And then finally, he made the decision to make a change, okay? Number 2 here I put is likability. So in order to close anyone, anywhere, anytime, any place, you have to be likable, right? It's about building relationships with other human beings and connecting so that they genuinely want to deal with you and they just genuinely want to interact with you because, oh man, I like that guy. Like I want to talk to him, or I want to talk to her, and I want to be around that person. I want to spend more time with them. I want to be more like them, right? That's what I mean by likability. And if you ever want to close anybody on anything, it's just about building that relationship and being likable and letting them feel that they're dealing with the right person, right? In regards to whatever it is that you're going to close on them. Obviously, when you're trying to close your family, your wife, stuff like that, you already built such a strong relationship with them that obviously they like you. They obviously probably love you, but at the end of the day, you have that likability and you have that relationship built. So they're going to take your word for what it is. And if you say something is important, this is going to be valuable to our family. That's what I mean by likability, okay? How to close anyone, anywhere, anytime, any place, is you have to be able to persuade people. So persuading people in regards to why they should go with you versus going with somebody else, why they should have a relationship with you, why they should implement new habits that are going to improve their life. But you need to convince them and persuade them on the benefits of it, right? So if you're closing somebody, like for instance, let's say you're closing somebody on why it's so good to have a morning routine, okay? And you're trying to close them, hey, you know what? You should start waking up at 5 in the morning, having a morning routine. You should be journaling, you should be drinking water, You should be having a cold shower, let's say, and you should be reading at least 10 pages in the morning, stuff like that. It's like, okay, well, why should I do that, Danny? Well, first of all, it grounds you for the day, because if you're writing in your journal, let's say you're writing gratitudes, okay, I ams and different things you're grateful for in your life, it primes you for the day to where you feel a sense of gratitude when you start your day. So even just writing those gratitudes out first thing in the morning, guess what? You're already feeling, you're stepping into a sense of gratitude before you even go about your day and do all these other things, right? So why should you read a book? Well, you should read a book to expand your knowledge, to expand your consciousness as a human being, so that you can learn new things that you can apply in your life, so that you can live a better life and live at a higher frequency, right? And get to that human excellence that we're all after. Because why would you not want to live the best version of yourself is the real question. And you already know the answer to that. You do want to. And you do know what you need to do. It's just a matter of doing it, right? And being able to close people and persuade people on why they should be doing all these things. I mean, a lot of times everybody already knows what they need to do, right? Anyways, I'm getting a little bit off track here, but back to it. How to close anyone, anywhere, anytime. You got to ask questions. You got to ask the questions. So the reason you ask questions is because you get people thinking and formulating the idea in their head. So it becomes their idea, right? Okay, so let's say you were to start this morning routine, how do you think you would feel in even 3 months of having a set routine every morning? You know, how do you think you would feel, honestly, right? Get people thinking about it. Get people embodying, you know, their goal and their vision. And they're like, okay, you know what? If I start this morning routine, I'm more grateful. You know, how much better am I going to be able to, if I can carry that energy throughout my day and just feel good all the time? Like, how much better of a day am I going to have, right? Rather than waking up and checking social media, seeing a bunch of negativity, a bunch of propaganda, a bunch of negative things that are getting into your head. Oh my God, Russia and the United States, and oh, what are all these things? What's China doing? Oh my God, my life. Like, why would you focus your energy on that? It's a waste of time, right? But the reason you ask those questions is because you get people thinking. When the more questions you ask them before you can close them on something, you're asking them, you know, how it's going to benefit them. What do they think the result is going to be, and like, how is it going to make them feel, right? Get them to jump into the emotion of how it's going to feel when they get the product or get the result, whatever it is that they're looking for, right? So asking those questions is the biggest thing. So again, quick recap. Energy, obviously your transfer of energy. If you're trying to close somebody on something, they can feel it, right? It's not about trying to communicate something to somebody and talking about it. It's about transferring the energy so that they can feel it in their bones, okay? Being likable is obviously important, building relationships, because people will do business with people that they like. At the end of the day, it's probably one of the simplest and actually easiest thing that you can do. It's not even about a bunch of different crazy techniques or anything like that. It's just about being likable and just being a human being and being able to connect with other human beings, okay? Next one, persuade. Obviously, you got to be able to convince and persuade people. If you can, you know, if you have experience as to why something is beneficial, like if I'm trying to convince somebody on a morning routine, for me, I have a morning routine every single day and I do the same thing, and it's benefited me long term, and I've been able to accomplish more, have more energy, you know, have more rest, and just live with a sense of gratitude every day because of all these things that I do every morning, right? And then you got to ask those questions. Always ask those questions so that people can formulate their own answer and come up with, okay, you know what, this is going to make sense for me, right? And then they can come to the conclusion, and then all of a sudden they're closed. And then all of a sudden they lost the weight. All of a sudden they bought the product. All of a sudden they got the result. And then all of a sudden they're closed. And all of a sudden they're thanking you for closing them, right? So anyways, got a little bit off on a tangent here. Hopefully you guys got some value out of this video. How to close anyone, anywhere, anytime. And it's all these 4 things: energy, likability, being able to persuade, and then asking the right questions so that people can come up with their own answers and figure things out. Hit subscribe, hit like, comment, and follow for more.